And welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, we are live streaming tonight. Obviously, we can't do a live stream during the halftime of the show this week because we don't have a game. The Raiders are on bye. So I wanted to take this opportunity to go over the schedule that we did. That's why it's called Schedule Review 3.0. Now, we first looked at the schedule back in April when it first came out. I did a little bit of a prediction with that. And then 2.0, we went through it right before the season started in September, gave our predictions. And hey, Sandy B, how are you doing? I see you there. Good to see you here. Good to see everybody out here. But this is our 3.0. So we're going to take a look at how we did with our predictions so far after 7 games. And then if we want to change some of our predictions for the rest of the season, we can do that as well. So without further ado, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over what I call the rundown. As usual, this is how I formulate my live streams. If you haven't been here before, I do what I call a rundown here. So we have topics on the table here that we're going to go over. Then at the end, I always allow for a Q&A. We can have a discussion on what we went through with the rundown or anything else Raider or football related. So let's get to this right now. So the first thing I want to do is go over what I call the viewer's choice. Now, I did put a poll out earlier this week about what you want to see other than the schedule review. We will be doing that. What else would you want to see? And it kind of ended up as a tie here between wanting to go over the recent moves and where we stand relative to the rest of the league. So we're going to do both of those tonight. So let's get right to that. Now, the first thing I want to do is talk about my recent roster moves here. Now, these are from the... Yikes, I didn't get that. Is there a problem with the feed? Okay, so... Oh, you didn't get the poll. Okay, Sandy B, that's okay. No worries. We're going to move on anyway. That's fine. They go in the feed. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't, as far as the polling goes. But it was pretty much even between people wanting to see the roster moves we've made recently and how we stand relative to the rest of the league. And we're going to do both. Now, as far as these roster ads, these are from the past week and a half or so. Don't really want to spend too much time going over these. Now, Trufant and Fluker, they're basically veterans in their early 30s. They had some success earlier in their career. Obviously, they're on the backside of their career. They're added for depth, especially at the guard position where we've had the injuries there, especially with Denzel Good. We've moved Leatherwood into guard. Maybe if Fluker could pan out, we can move him back out to tackle. That's where we drafted him in the first round, supposedly. And then kind of a couple backup practice-type players. Nothing big there, but the one thing I want to talk about really is the releasing of Willie Snead. Now, we signed Willie Snead, I believe, back in March, and I did a video on this signing. And I put a big question mark there. I didn't really quite understand it. And I gave the overall signing a D because we already had Hunter Renfrow. We had some other receivers there. I would have rather have spent the money on defense. And we also had Edwards and Ruggs that were coming into their own. They're relatively young. And I didn't really feel a need that we had to go out and get Willie Snead. Well, anyway, Willie Snead requested for his release. Basically, he wasn't getting enough playing time in his eyes. To me, number one, you earn your playing time. You shouldn't be crying about it. If you wouldn't drop balls in the end zone, maybe you would get more playing time, quite frankly. And honestly, I didn't understand the signing, and maybe this is one of those Grudenisms, you know, that your head scratching between the signings, between the picks, between the game planning. I'm going to kind of chalk it up to that. He does have some talent in the slot, but again, we already had Renfrow. Didn't really make sense, honestly. He is a veteran, but again, you know, basically Renfrow's outplayed him. Zay Jones, another guy we picked up, outplayed him. That's why John Brown's not here anymore. So there's basically no whining about that. And I just want to move on with that. That's the only relative significant move I can see in the past week or so. Now, I'm going to go through the team stats so far. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use total yards. Most of these will not be total counts because basically we've had some bye weeks now, so it might not be fair one way or the other. Plus, we had the Packers and Cardinals play. on Thursday night, so that could pad stats one way or the other. So I'm going to do it by game average. So that's a better representation. So we're going to go over the offense first, and this is what I came up. So this is total yards. So the team were 10th overall in offense relative to the league, 2nd in passing, and we're only 28th in rushing. And I did do a poll earlier about what we should fix. Some of you did say we need to fix the running game. Obviously, that's a reflection of Josh Jacobs being hurt and the interior offensive line being hurt and not really performing, especially with Andre James at center. I'm still wondering why he's actually the center there. He has improved a little bit. The offensive line improved as a whole, especially during the Eagles game, but still a lot of work to do there. Also with Jacobs, I like Kenyon Drake as a player, but I didn't really understand the signing because he's not really an inside running guy. Now, he did do well in Philly and during the Philly game because we made holes, the size of semi-trucks to go through. But he's more of an outside guy, catch a pass in the flat guy. I was surprised we didn't either get a free agent or draft like a Ramondre Stevenson, an inside kind of pounder kind of a guy. And now that Jacobs is hurt again, he's been hurt every year he's been here off and on. He hasn't played a full season, so that's part of the suffering here. Now, points per game, we're 10th. Obviously, the passing game is humming. Derek Carr is having an MVP-like season. It's shutting a lot of the haters up. Now, the last, I think, 2 interceptions he had weren't even his fault. They were bouncing off of hands. Foster Moreau stopped his route, basically gifted a interception to Miami in that game. Hi, Earth Daughter. I wanted to say hi to you. I saw you come in. Good to see you here. So offense, passing good, rushing not so much. You can kind of see it reflecting here. This is 3rd down and 4th down conversions. We're kind of on the lower end, especially 4th down. Obviously, if we can't run the ball, we can't run the ball 4th and inches, 4th and 1, and get those first downs. The red zone, this is red zone touchdown percentage. So this is the percentage that we score a touchdown once we're inside the 20-yard line. We're 17th, kind of middle of the road. Again, I think a lot of that is with the passing game is good, but once you get into the red zone, they really don't have to honor that rushing game. They can kind of fold in. They don't have to worry about Ruggs or Zay Jones. Excuse me. 1 second. Let me get a drink here. Like I said, they don't have to worry about Ruggs or Zay Jones running 50 yards for a bomb when you're inside the 20. So I think you get hampered there. As far as our defense goes, the team is 14th now. Excuse me. The team is 14th. That doesn't sound too well, but you know what? We were what, 25th last year overall. So a lot of improvement, especially on the passing side. And honestly, I think not only did we have the improvement with Casey Hayward coming in, we're getting better play. Nate Hobbs out there as well. We drafted him in the 5th round, but also the pass rush. You gotta give kudos to this pass rush. We're 9th in sacks, 18 total. We had, I believe, 20 or 22 last year for the whole season. So it looks like we might even double that. We've only played 7 games now. So we might even double the total we had last year. Max Crosby's healthy. We got Yannick on the other side. We're getting some inside pressure with Quentin Jefferson, Darius Philon. Very good. Rushing game, we're having trouble stopping the run. We're having trouble running the ball. That is a concern to me. I think short term, we've been doing well. We're 5-2. It's a little disturbing if we can't stop the run and we can't run the ball as a team. We might have some problems once we get to the playoffs, so we need to shore that up. As far as points per game, 12th in the league. That's pretty good, especially from where we were defensively. Turnovers, 14th, and I already talked about the sacks, but I wanted to mention this, and I highlighted it here. Now, this is blitz percentage relative to the total defensive plays. Now, we blitz the least. We're the team that blitzes the least in the entire league at 12.7% of total defensive plays. But we're 9th in sacks. That's telling me we're getting pressure from our front four, and that is such a luxury where we don't have to send extra people. We can put more people into coverage. They can focus on their assignments. The linebackers can focus on the short passing. They don't have to try to rush and leave a space wide open. It's a testament to the front four of this defense. It's a testament to Gus Bradley and the coaching staff. Well done thus far. Awesome job thus far. So overall, we're looking pretty good. Obviously, we have some things we need to shore up, but we're still 5-2. And now we're going to go into what I call the Schedule 3.0. And if you were here before, we're going to go over our schedule. And I'll bring that up right now. So I brought this up, and we're going to talk about this. So this is the grid we used the last time we were here. So this is your guys' predictions, the subs, the watchers, the viewers here are 2.0. And I just kind of put check marks or X's here. So overall, you guys did a pretty good job. You guys were 5-2 in your predictions. The only thing you missed was you got these two mixed up. And we'll talk about my predictions here shortly. Well, let's talk about it right now. Basically, you guys beat me by 1. I had those two mixed up as well. I thought we could beat the Bears and we'd probably lose in Mile High because it's a tough place to play. However, I wasn't so sure about week 1 with this defense against the Ravens, and they really showed up. Granted, it was kind of a shootout, but still, brand new team, brand new defense, and Lamar Jackson running the ball. I think we did good overall, so I did miss that one. Otherwise, same as you guys. So what I'll go over what I went as far as 3.0, but I first want to go through here. So I kind of grade this out. So I was going to ask you guys what if there's anything you want to change. So these were the predictions from the 2.0 show. You guys ended up saying the Raiders were going to go 11-6. I'm saying they were going to go 10-7. And here are the rest of the games. If you feel like you want to change anything in here, we can talk about that as well. And I'll look to you right now if you guys want to talk in the live stream in the chat. So let's see if we have anything going on here. Nice, pay your dues. Pay your dues too. Yeah, Willie Snead. You're talking about Willie Snead there. Yeah, I mean he's a veteran. You know, he played some time in Houston and Baltimore, but I mean he's not a bad player. But you know, it's like, what are you whining about? You had some opportunities. You didn't really cash in on them. You know, I honestly don't feel that a slot receiver is really a priority to pick up in free agency anyway. So, yeah. So, let's see. I'm going to go to mine right now. So this is your guys's. No real losses, right? No real loss with Willie Snead. We still have Hunter Renfrow. The only thing I was thinking that they were going to do with Snead is keep Renfrow, because Renfrow returns punts. And you can get hurt doing that. I can kind of see a backup role for that. But Snead was never really into the offense. Like I said, sparingly, he dropped that crossing route week 1, and that kind of told the tale with him. Like I said, he's not a bad player, but he just didn't fit in, and I frankly didn't see why we even picked him up, spent the money on him. So I'll let you guys think about that. I'm gonna go to my tab here. So this is mine. So this was my predictions, and I changed a few things actually here. So a couple things I changed were the Cincinnati game. I had that as a win. This one's going to be tough. Cincinnati is playing really good football now. Even their defense, to me, it's the biggest shock. If you watched my fantasy football videos, I did one on the Cincinnati Bengals, and I basically said to stay away from the defense. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. They've actually been playing hard. I think a lot of that it has to do with the offensive side being able to score and ease that defense up, kind of like with Mahomes did with the Chiefs for a couple of years, and now the Chiefs offense is kind of sputtering, so the defense is being more exposed there with Kansas City. So I put that as a loss, but I turned this one with Washington as a W because, frankly, Washington's not very impressive right now. I don't know what's going on. The defense, especially the defense, I thought that would be the mainstay. They're average at best, and I think the way this offense is humming, especially with the passing game, I think this is going to be like another Philadelphia Eagles game where we'll get out to a lead and just kind of sit on it. So I don't feel them as a big threat. I know they have Chase Young, a great pass rusher, but I mean, we faced T.J. Watt. We beat the Steelers. We beat Von Miller with Denver. So not real concerned about Taylor Heineke, if Gibson even plays or not. He's been injured off and on all season. Like I said, they're underachieving right now, and honestly, I don't see how it's going to get any better. So I still have this loss here, this kind of specter here the week after the bye. Now, maybe with Rich Bisaccia, this is going to change and be more disciplined. I think if Gruden was still there and none of this craziness happened with all these emails and he was still the coach, I would be like 85% sure of this pick. I'm kind of 50-50 now, just because of the discipline. I'm not worried about the Giants at all. As far as their defense, I'll do a formal review next week before the game, but defense is not really scaring me. I thought their front four with Leonard Williams would provide more pressure. It really hasn't, to be honest. And they're not getting a whole lot of sacks. They don't blitz a lot either, which is weird. You know, generally if you're not getting to the quarterback, it forces you to blitz more. Like I said, with the Raiders, they don't have to blitz because they can get there with their front four, and that's an awesome luxury. But, you know, Barkley's hurt again. I believe he's on IR. He's out. I believe he'll be out next week. He's out this week. Danny Dimes is really kind of falling back to earth here in the second year. Not real concerned about the Giants, but again, we're coming off a bye week. Sometimes we have that swoon, especially with the Gruden years, if you look back. And we're going East Coast, and we generally don't travel well to the East Coast here. So kind of 50-50 on that. If they win, it wouldn't really necessarily surprise me, to be honest. Might want to change these two. I didn't, because the Chiefs are in desperation mode now. They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble, and they're going to have to start winning games. They're really going to make the playoffs at this point. So I'm thinking maybe to switch this, but I think this is going to be a really tough game. I think the Raiders are going to be really focused on the Sunday Night Football game at home, because this is going to be a tough game to win in the middle of December at Arrowhead. So, and then the other ones I stood pat with, especially this Charger one. I think regardless of how the rest of the season goes, I think especially the way the Chargers acted after that game, all talking smack, and you know, Joey Bosa basically calling Derek Carr soft and all this other crap. They're going to be focused. This is the one game. If I had to pick any, I mean, unless like Derek Carr gets hurt, heaven forbid, you know, something crazy happens, this is the one game we're going to friggin' win. I don't even care what the record is at that point. We're going to win this game. We're going to prove to them. We're going to shove it down their throat. So let's see. You were saying, you rethink Kansas City, and you're thinking about changing the Giants to a win. Okay, so I went from 10-7 to 11-6 on my predictions here. I gave us one more win by the way they're playing. Well, I didn't really do that. They got one more win than I thought they would. I thought they'd be 4-3 at the break, but I just kind of changed a couple wins and losses based on how the other teams are doing, to be honest. So you want to change the Giants one to a win, and you want to rethink Kansas City. So what do you mean rethink? You want to change this one to win and this one a loss? I'm just concerned about the Chiefs game here. It's going to be on Sunday Night Football. Obviously, they're going to want to look good. They're not going to want to be shown up. If they lose this game, now they have a Monday night game this week against, I believe, the Giants. Giants are trash. They should win that game. but they're going to play a division rival on Sunday Night Football. They're going to be coming to Vegas, and they're desperate. They're desperate right now. So you want to change that one to a loss. So, and again, I kept this Dallas game. Dak is still kind of iffy, even if he's going to play this week. I'm assuming he's going to be back for this game, and that's going to be a tough game. The Bengals are no joke. They're playing good football right now. And then we have a short week against another good team, Dallas. That offense is humming. The defense, I mean, it's coming along. They got Micah Parsons, who's pretty good. I wish we could have got him in the first round, but it's going to be a tough game. So what about this week 14 at KC? You want to keep that as a loss then? Because we changed that, or you want to split it? Let me see. Oh yeah, you guys had the Browns game as a loss. I had it as a win. Browns are kind of in flux right now. Baker Mayfield and that offense is kind of sputtering. I mean, they run the ball like crazy though, so they run the ball like crazy. With Chubb and I think, I'm not sure if Hunt will be back. He's hurt, but they run the ball very well, and we cannot stop the run. And I heard Baker Mayfield's going to play. He was out last week, but it's kind of iffy. And again, we played them last year in Cleveland, and it was like in a windstorm, and nobody could throw the ball. The ball was just going everywhere. They couldn't even, I think they couldn't kick it further than like 30 yards for field goals. It was a low scoring game. We won, but it was an ugly game. I like these. The Colts could be an issue if they can get it together. They play hard at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. Guaranteed win here, no problem. Broncos, they started 3-0. Now they're 3-4. They look like pretenders. They played 3 soup cans, basically. They played Jacksonville, the Jets, and the Giants. They went 3-0. And not looking so good. I'm not too worried about that one. This will probably be a split. I can't see us sweeping the Chiefs. They're going to have to, especially this game. I almost wish this was at Kansas City, because they're going to be so desperate in this game. It's going to be ridiculous. So let's see. Any of the comments we have here? Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. Anybody else have anything about the schedule here? This is your guys' prediction, so we'll look at it. You guys are basically one game up on me that we talked about here. So I thought we would be 4-3 at the break. You guys said 5-2. You had 5-2. You just got these 2 games mixed up. Obviously, with the Bears, I thought this was a W, and we definitely pulled a Gruden here. I think if Bisaccia started the season, we probably would have won this game. We looked so flat and terrible in this game. We bounced back with Denver on the road. Great win. Eagles aren't that good. Like I said, I thought we would win that going away, and we did. The score looked close, 33-22. It really wasn't that close. They got a garbage touchdown, 2-point conversion at the end. Okay, Bengals and Cowboys. You want to change this to a loss and change this to a win then? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, Cincy's tough. And Joe Burrow, a lot of people were sleeping on him. He looked good the first 6 weeks last year in his rookie season. He was, to me, I thought he was going to be Rookie of the Year, and then he got the knee injury. He was out, and then Herbert came in and got Rookie of the Year. But him and Jamar Chase, his old buddy at LSU, they're no joke. They are no joke. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to hold down. And they're doing it really without Joe Mixon, their lead running back. So it's kind of like a Raiders situation with that offense. They're looking really good. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. So, they're I believe they're 6-2. No, 5-2. 5-2 like us. So, yeah. And the Cowboys, Dak has been out. If he comes back, this is going to be a really tough game. If he's not there, we got a chance to win that one. So it's a lot of it's about staying focused. And honestly, with Bisaccia running the thing, I think he's more of the discipline, keep everybody on task. And you can kind of see it the last 2 games where he's been the head coach, the interim coach, versus Gruden. They started out a lot faster. They're a lot more consistent now. And I believe he's just he's letting Greg Olson and Gus Bradley run the show from the coordinator standpoint, which he should do. Now, Gruden liked to call these stupid plays and be totally predictable, and you can, especially in the red zone. I'm interested to see, like that red zone stat I put up. I'm interested to see how we finish there. We were 17th, I believe, right now, present. I wouldn't be surprised if we were around the top 10 at the end of the year. We could revisit later. Yeah, absolutely. I intend to, after the regular season's over, to do basically a 4.0. We're going to go over the review, go over our schedule review and see how we did total and see how we're going. So it looks like you guys have us at 12-5. I have us as 11-6. Again, this is even more difficult because we don't have Gruden here. If you've watched my grading Gruden videos in the off season, there's a lot of things you could tell with Gruden. It was honestly, and people got mad at me because a lot of Gruden fans, I don't think he's a very good coach. At best, the game has passed him by, and it kind of showed. If you look at the stats in the second halves of the season and the second halves of the game, we would falter. We would falter every year. He was their coach for 3 years. This was his 4th season. The second halves of the last 8 games, we would falter. We would give up more points. We would score less points. I think they were figuring it out. I think that people were, he couldn't get the players together. They were disinterested. And then a lot of these weird draft picks, and I'm going to go over that on a separate video, probably in the off season. And I'm going to talk about his draft picks, particularly in the first round. I talked a little bit about it in a previous live stream, but now there's a lot of talk about trading Cleve Farrell going on out there. And it's like, he was the 4th overall pick. So whose fault is that? So Gruden's out. Mayock, the GM, is still in, but Mayock even said himself that Gruden had the final say. Gruden brought in Antonio Brown and all that crap and tried to keep him, even though he called Mayock a racial slur. I'm not going to say it here. Hey, JoJo, thanks for coming in. But, I mean, even tried to keep Antonio Brown here during that saga after Antonio Brown got into it with the GM and called him a racial slur. Again, I'm not going to say the word, but it's kind of relative to saltines. You know what I'm saying? So if I say that, they'll probably shut the video down or whatever. But that was all Gruden's doing, kind of begging him to stay. And then at some point, it was like you had to cut your losses. And then you saw, I don't know if you saw that video with Antonio Brown where he finally saw that he was officially released. He's jumping up and down in his backyard like a big idiot that he is, you know. And then now he goes to Tampa and he's a good boy now, you know. He can behave because Tom Brady's there and he's winning. He's a punk. He was a punk. He was a punk with the Steelers. He's garbage. We don't need that. I don't care how talented he is. We don't need a guy like that on the team. He's a cancer. So that's my 2 cents with Antonio Brown. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for coming. If you want to have any other discussions, we'll do that right now as far as any kind of question and answer. So let me get that over right now. And I'll be bigger on the screen. You can see my face, and I got some lighting here, and I know tomorrow is Halloween, so I wore a little Halloween shirt. I got my Raiders hat on, of course, but I wanted to get a little festive, you know. It's a little weird that the Raiders aren't playing on Halloween. You know how all their fans like to dress up, you know. It'd be nice to have had a game at home on Halloween, maybe had a bye week another week, but it is what it is. I was watching on TV. I switched to computer. Well, good, perfect. Now you can now I'm bigger on the screen. That's awesome. Sandy B says, so what happened at the end of the Eagles game? They started so strong in the beginning. Well, they got it to a 30-7 lead in the game, and they basically played prevent. So the Eagles got the ball, came down into the red zone, drove the ball down, and then Hurts fumbled the ball. But his guard, if you saw my preview, the guard had his hand there, and it kind of bounced away, and they fumbled the ball in our red zone. So we got the ball back. We ended up getting a field goal. Then they came down and got a touchdown, and they came back again, got a touchdown, 2-point conversion, but the time was out. So I know a lot of fans were complaining, oh yeah, we let off the gas, blah blah blah. But I mean, it was 30-7 at that point. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to try to run the ball. We can't run the ball. You want to run the ball. This is another reason to improve the running game so we can run out the clock. So Carr and that passing offense gives us this big lead. The defense holds it, gets turnovers like it did. This is where you want that running game to burn that clock out, and we really couldn't do that in the game. Is it the Raider running game? Yeah. Like I said, they're 28th in the league in running the ball. They did a little better overall, but it's still not there. I would say it was an average performance if you saw my game review on that. So, yeah, so that's exactly what happened with the Eagles game. But I'm very encouraged, right? Because it made sense to try to sit on a 30-7 lead. You don't want to be throwing it deep and maybe getting a pick six and giving them momentum. If they're going to get it, try to run the clock out, and if you can't run the ball, just punt the ball away. Run time, make them go the entire length of the field. They really couldn't do that other than that first drive, like I said in my review. But it was nice to see the Raiders having a little more consistency, especially on the offensive side. Greg Olsen now 2 games, great play calling, keeping the defense guessing. We went to Mile High that first game where, at the post Gruden, and the Denver's defense was stymied. They didn't know what the heck to do. I mean, they have Von Miller, right? And then in the Eagles game, they have Hargrave, who has 6 sacks on the year. He didn't get anything. Didn't sniff anything. They gave up no sacks in the game, in the Eagles game. So, and they only gave up 2 in the Denver game. So, I think we're doing a better job overall. I think the team's more prepared. All signs point to Gruden at this point. The team's more prepared when it comes in. It's more consistent. The play calling's better. It's not predictable. I mean, all signs point to Gruden on that. I mean, obviously with the injuries inside the line, injuries to Josh Jacobs, that's going to hurt the running game. You can't just go out and find another Josh Jacobs in free agency. I'm like I said, I'm really surprised in the offseason we didn't get another inside kind of pounding running back. We could have got Ramondre Stevenson in the draft, and you can see what he's been doing with the Patriots there. I mean, I'm not saying he's the next Derrick Henry by any means, but it would be nice to have a big presence like that and running the ball inside. All right. See, any other questions for me here? Any other questions? Any other comments you want to talk about the Raiders, the season so far? Let me take a drink real quick while I'm reading here. And yes, I muted it. I know how to mute when I drink versus other people that do live streams and videos. Not naming any names. All right. Any other questions? Any other comments before we close this out? I'll look for a little bit, but I do want to thank you for coming in here, guys, and supporting the channel here, and going through the schedule. I think it's pretty interesting. You guys are doing a pretty good job. You're up 1 game on me. Looking at the schedule here, and when do we meet again? You're talking about the next live stream. The next live stream will be at halftime of the Raiders-Giants game, which will be on Sunday. and I have to look at the time. It's probably going to be a 10 o'clock game, West Coast time. I talk in West Coast time because I'm on the West Coast. So it'll be noon starting. So it's about, I always set it about an hour and a half after game time starts. And it kind of correlates with that. Sometimes it's a few minutes earlier, sometimes it's a few minutes later. So we just kind of compensate for that. It'd be very interesting to see the Raiders, and if they do come out, I'll say this. I've already kind of said it already about Gruden, but if they come out off the bye week, which they've had issues with, let's see, 11-7. So yeah, it'll be the 7th. November 7th will be the next one. I'll put a notification out once I do that, and I'll put a game preview out. I'm not sure if I'm going to do, I might do a live stream of the game preview maybe next Saturday night. I'm not sure if I'm going to just do a regular video or a live stream of that. One or the other, I'll do that. But again, getting back to my point, I already talked bad about Gruden on here. I'll probably get some thumbs down from some of the Gruden lovers. That it is what it is. But the proof of the pudding's in the eating, right? We've had 2 games now. Teams looked a lot better. Teams looked a lot more consistent. The play calling is miles ahead. And like I said, this team has struggled off of bye weeks, and they've struggled going to the East Coast trips. Even against crappy teams like the Jets, we've struggled against them in the past. So if we go out and we take care of our business, similar like we did with Philly last week, I mean, what else can you say other than it's Gruden? It's on Gruden. So can I switch subjects? Sure, you can switch subjects. If you want to talk about something else as far as football related or something. I appreciate that, Sandy B. Probably not necessarily want to talk about that channel. I do have another channel called Be Well. But it's completely different. It's not sports related at all. So it's probably not relative to what we have here. I could put a link. I'm thinking about putting a link in my Raider page. So if somebody wants to go over there and check that out, it's more about kind of totally off subject, more like relaxation, inspirational type subjects. So again, totally different. It's just kind of a change of pace for me, what I do here on the Raider channel. So I just wanted to do that as well, and I enjoy doing both of these things. So again, I thank you. If you have any other questions, let me know right now. Otherwise, we'll end this here. We're probably at about 35 minutes or so. It's a good time. Again, I'm not the type to want to be on here for like 3 or 4 hours. I don't see the value in it for you guys, to be honest with you, to talk that long. The most I like to go is maybe an hour. That's why I like the halftime live streams, because we can just go in, we can talk. I can show you what put it on the rundown, show you what I think about what's going on, and then get your input, what you have to say about it, if you agree, if you disagree, and then we get back to the second half, watch the rest of the game. So I like that format. I think it's more useful to you, more useful in general. So if you don't have any other questions, again, thank you for coming out. I do appreciate you guys coming out here. I appreciate you coming and supporting the channel. Maybe next year do a live stream during the game. I mean, if enough people want it, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do a 3-hour live stream. Again, that's another thing. I don't see right now enough people. I think I need to have more people coming to these live streams. Because if not, they're not gonna stay here for 3 hours during a live stream. You know what I mean? So if it's built up to that point, then we'll do it. That's fine. Yeah, those who's out there are ridiculous. Well, the bottom line is, if people are, they wouldn't do those live streams if they didn't have the people coming and watching them. So, I mean, it is what it is. They have the fan base that wants to do that, and if I have enough people that want to do that and live stream, then I'll do it. Again, I've said this before in past live streams. It's like, well, okay, And Josh Jacobs ran for 2 yards. Okay, so big deal. I mean, you have 3.5. You have what, maybe 3, 4, 5 at most plays worthy of talking about in a game. So you're going to be on for an hour and a half in the first half to talk about 5 things. See, I would rather just come on during the half, talk about the highlights, see what I see what you guys see, and get back to the game. You know, I could do like a post game. I could do that too. I know some do a post game, like Raider Cody does one. It's pretty good. I could do that if there's enough interest in it as well. But otherwise, I'll just kind of keep doing this and trying to gain the fan base. Again, like I said, I'll do more polls like I did here with the viewer's choice, and maybe help you guys can start dictating what you want to see in the channel as well a little bit more. So I do appreciate the suggestions. I appreciate the support. Again, I want to thank you for coming out here and supporting this channel, and as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.